Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. It's Steven from learnenglishgoplaces.com. And the topic of today's video is the word even. And I want to talk to you guys about how to use this word like a pro when you're speaking English. This is a word that I think trips people up sometimes when they're speaking English because it has to be used in a very specific way, in a very specific grammatical format. And sometimes this can be a little bit tricky. So I want to talk about when we use the word even and how to use it grammatically in English. Even is used to include something that you wouldn't expect normally to be included. So literally, even means equal or the same. If things are even, they are at the same level. And so even is used to include something that you would not expect to be included, um, to show that that thing is at the same level or the same as all the other things that are included in that. Let's look at some examples. And I also want to show you four different grammatical constructions that you can use with even. So I've got this new whiteboard that we're going to be looking at some sentences on today. And the first thing that I want to show you guys is these four grammatical constructions that we can use even with. So we can use even with a noun, like even the trees, even the sky, even uh, even you, even me. We can use even with a verb. We can use even with a preposition and then a noun. So even for him, even in Alaska. And then we can use this last expression, even though, even when, or even if. We can use that with a noun and then a verb. So this gets a little tricky. We have to always use these expressions with a noun and a verb together. So let's look at those. Let's look at some examples of using even using these different grammatical constructions. So the first example would be even plus a noun. So uh, here are the example sentences that we have. First one says, everyone was laughing, even the security guard. So in this case, we're including the security guard in the group of people who are laughing, saying everyone is laughing. We're including the security guard, even though we would not expect the security guard to be laughing. We would expect the security guard to be very serious, very straight faced, but even the security guard is laughing. And then the second sentence is a lyric from Hootie and the Blowfish, and it says, no one is listening to me, not even the trees. And so in this song, the lyric is stating that uh, it's including the trees in the group of people that are not listening to the lyricist in this case. And so he's saying, no one is listening to me, not even the trees. As if he would expect that normally at least the trees would listen to him normally. But even now, not even the trees are listening to him, right? And so we're including the trees in that group of people. We're saying the trees are the same like everybody else who's not listening to him, not even the trees. Okay. Even plus noun. Then we can also use even together with a verb, right? So we can say, here are a few examples. He thinks about math all the time. He even solves math problems while he's sleeping, right? So we're including even that situation where you would not expect someone to solve math problems while they're sleeping, but even while he's sleeping, he's solving math problems. Actually, the way it's written is that he even solves math problems while he's sleeping, right? So you could say it either way. And then the second sentence says, she went to every single baseball game this season, and she doesn't even like baseball, right? So it's not something that you would expect. You would not expect this person to attend every single baseball game, um, but she did, right? And so we can use she doesn't even like baseball to emphasize that it's not a situation that we would expect, right? And then related to that, we have this construction, like a command where you would tell somebody, don't do something. Sometimes you might hear people in English say, don't even do this. Don't even think about doing that. And so if somebody says, don't even think about doing that, it's a way of saying, don't do it. But the person is saying, not only, they're not only saying, don't do it, that person is also saying, don't even think about doing it. So it's putting thinking about doing that thing on the same level, on an even level with actually doing it. So he's saying, don't even think about it. Don't even think about doing that. And then the other example that I have here is, don't even get me started, which you might hear somebody say this. Usually, this is a very kind of idiomatic expression. Um, it's usually an expression that somebody would say when some kind of topic comes up that they have a lot of things to say about. Maybe they have a strong opinion about something. You bring up a topic and they say, "Oh, don't even get me started about that." It means don't don't say something that's gonna cause me to start talking and talking and talking about this thing that I'm very opinionated about, right? Don't even get me started. That's a very, I think the correct word is idiomatic expression. It's not an expression that you'll necessarily find in textbooks, but you will hear people say that sometimes. And then we also have the example where you can use even with a preposition and a noun. So you can say, this is a quote from Yasin Bey. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody's very results oriented, but it's a process even for successful people, right? So it's including that, it's including successful people in the group of people for whom success is a process. So even for successful people, being successful is not something that happens overnight. It's a process, right? And then the second example is, it says life is sometimes difficult even in America, right? So including America in that group of countries in which life is sometimes difficult. So emphasizing that maybe it's not what you would expect, but even this country in this case will be included in that original statement about life sometimes being difficult. Okay, and then finally we have this expression, these expressions: even though, even when, even if, and then we add a noun and a verb, right? So even if you are familiar with this area, this neighborhood, you should still be careful here at night, right? So including the situation, even if, including that situation where a person knows the area, is familiar with the area, they should still be careful, right? Even if you are familiar with this area, you should still be careful here at night. And I did want to make a point here that a lot of times when people are learning English, they forget to add this second word: even though, even if, even when. And they may say, even you are familiar with this area, you should still be careful here at night. So you'll be understood if you say that. People will understand you. However, we want to make sure that we add that even Even if means even in the situation that, even in the scenario that you are familiar with this area, you should still be careful here at night. And then the second one says, if you're a decent sailor, you can get to where you want to go, even though there may be storms. Even though there may be storms. And so here we are saying that in this situation, if you know how to sail, you can get to your destination despite the fact that there may be storms. So even though means here it means that there is this obstacle, this challenge, this barrier, in the sense that there may be storms that occur on the ocean or on the river where you're sailing. Um, but even so, you can still get to where you want to go if you're a decent sailor. So that means including this situation, where maybe we would expect that the storms would stop us from getting where we want to go. Even though there may be storms, you can still get to where you want to go, even though, right? And so the meaning is similar to even if. Um, it means despite the fact that there are storms or that there may be storms, you can keep going. And then finally, we're going to look at the situation, a quote. This is a John Mayer quote. He says, "It's a really difficult thing to divorce yourself from attention, even when that attention is unwanted." So he's saying it's very hard to um, get away from the desire for attention, even if the attention is not wanted, even if the attention is not wanted. So it's hard to pull away from having people pay attention to you, even if that attention is not good attention or undesirable attention, right? Um, and so he's including that situation where the attention is less than desirable, where the attention is not really wanted. He's saying even in that situation, it's hard to separate yourself from that attention. There's a tendency to want to still have that attention, even though it's negative attention, right? So even even when these are very similar constructions to each other, even though is used more generally, and even when and even if are used for specific circumstances or specific times, right? Um, even when it's raining outside, or even if you don't have a driver's license, right? Even though is more like referring to some kind of fact, like um, even though this year started off um, slow in our department, um, things picked up, business picked up, or something like that. So even though you would use with facts, even if, even when, you would use those more with specific circumstances. But make sure you have a noun and a verb, like a complete thought after those expressions. Okay, that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you joining me on the channel. Please like and subscribe if you appreciated this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and I hope you have an awesome day.